Hello and welcome to the webinar, What's New at Mural? This is our first installment of a monthly webinar that we'll be doing every first Wednesday of the month. My name is Jim Callback. I'm the head of customer success at Mural, and I'll be your co-host today along with my colleague Amelia. Hi Amelia, how are you today?
Hi Jim, how are you?
Good, yes, looking forward to it. We have a lot of people online and a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can type them in the Q&A pane of your webinar software. So if you have any questions about what we're going to show today, just type it in the Q&A pane in your webinar software. We'll give our email addresses at the end of the webinar as well too, so you can contact each of us. So here's what we want to cover. We want to talk about templates, in particular publishing murals as templates. We want to talk about our new mobile web capability. We also want to show a couple of other new features really quickly. We'll have a tip for you at the end before we take your questions. Again, if you have any questions, just type them into the Q&A pane of your webinar software. So thanks everyone for joining. Let's get started with publishing murals as templates. Before we talk about that specific feature, I just wanted to quickly review what a template is and what we mean when we talk about templates. So here's a mural. I'm sharing this with you now for a set of activities around experience mapping, in this case going to a supermarket. You can see that there are 4 separate steps that the team took to complete this mural. So this is an example of a completed mural. This is what it might look like after you've already run the team activity. In the upper left is a stakeholder map, and then we did some persona work here with 2 personas up along the top. I'm just going to zoom around here a little bit. We did an empathy map. And then in the center, we had this space to complete an experience map for each one of the persona that we were focused on. We included images here as well too. The first one was for going to the supermarket by bike, and the second one was going to the supermarket by car. So we were able to compare those experiences. And what we did was we took an entire mural and laid it out so that all of these steps and activities kind of were connected to one another, and we could guide a team through these steps. Of course, when you start a new mural, it's blank. So how did we get to that team activity template? Let me just show you that quickly. What you do is you use the shapes and the arrows and the connectors that are included in Mural. So I want to call this experience map, and I'm just going to start putting the elements and the steps that I need on the mural. Typically, what we recommend is to exaggerate the headlines so that you can see them at any zoom level. But we wanted to do a stakeholder map first, and then we wanted to do some personas. So I'm just going to put out these steps of the activities. I'm just going to lay them out first and find a position on the page. Again, making these headlines, these subheaders, maybe a little smaller, but still kind of exaggerated. And I'm also going to take a sticky note here because I want the team to be working at the default sticky note size. We recommend to keep sticky notes at their default size and work to that scale. You can see Amelia's helping me build this template here, and then once we determine the steps that we want to take and we give them an appropriate amount of space, we can number these, for instance, step 1, step 2. So I'm basically just using the shapes and the sticky notes and the arrows, and I can even put a line in here if I want to add a line under each one of these. And I'm taking the mural and I'm laying it out so that we can get through the activities that we need to get through. We even have the proto-persona framework that you can add here. It's a little large for what we need, so we're going to do 2 of these guys right here so we can start laying this out. And of course, we also have an empathy map that's built in here as well too, so we can put that out here. And then we would create that table that we saw that was filled out for the experience map. There we go. And then once we have this all laid out, so we're just kind of in the process of doing this, what I would do is select everything and lock it down. So then it's all locked down. And when you're done creating that template, it might look something like this. So this is a blank template with all the elements locked down. A team could come in here and then run that exercise. So once you have your methods and your way of working, you can capture that all in a mural and call it a template. And now what we've built is this publish as template feature. If you go up to the mural options menu, and that's the menu right to the right of the mural title when you're inside a mural, you'll see there's a publish as template. And what this actually does is it marks this mural as a special mural type. And you can name it here, so I'm just gonna call this the experience mapping template. So we figured out how we want to do the activities, created this mural. Now I'm going to publish it as a template. What that does is it marks it as a special type of mural that is called a template. And we can go over and take a look at that now. So I just published this as a template, and you'll see here on the left-hand side, there's no content elements. I can't interact with this. It's actually kind of frozen. So we've created this template, locked everything down, but now we've kind of frozen everything as a template. And I'm going to go out back to my mural dashboard, and you can see up here in the upper left, we have a new templates option here. So I can go to all murals, or I can go into one of my rooms, but I also have this template option here. And you can see this template that I just created is right here in the upper left. So I've created this as a template, saved it as a template, and that prevents anyone from altering it or changing it. But if I want to use this as the basis of a team activity, I can say create a mural from this template, and just say where I want to put it and what room I want to put it. And then when I say, okay, create mural from template, what that'll do is it'll copy the template, create an instance of it in a room that I can now edit. So now this is a working version of that template that a team could come in here and start adding sticky notes and start working on this. If I go back out to my dashboard and I go into templates, you'll see that template is still here. And it's unchanged. So I've kind of frozen that, and I have this base template that I can then push out and start activities from that template. So that the new publish as template feature is the first one that we wanted to show you. We hope you find that helpful and interesting. This will be available. We're going to make the recording of this event, by the way, available on our blog. So if you go to blog.mural.ly after the event, you'll see the recording as well as some links to where you can find out more about publishing as a template. If you go to our support site, so if you go to our support site at support.mural.ly, you can also find some information about templates, publishing as templates. I also have a longer webinar recording that I did, as well as a shorter tutorial about templates in general. So let us know if you have any questions about publishing as templates. I'll be back in a little bit to answer those questions, but I wanted to hand it over to Amelia now, who's going to talk about brainstorming with remote capabilities. So Amelia, why don't you talk about the remote mobile capabilities?
Thank you, Jim. Okay, so today we have a cool new feature for mobile that we're going to demonstrate for you. Mural for mobile browser is finally here. So with Mural for mobile, you can, for example, invite your teammates to contribute ideas on sticky notes through their own mobile devices during a brainstorm session. But you can also use it as a notepad to add your ideas to sticky notes on the go and add to a mural later when you're back at your laptop. So now I'm going to, Jim is going to help me to demonstrate this through his mobile. So now Jim is stopping to share his screen through the browser, and now we can see Jim's mobile phone showing up instead. So in order to access Mural on your mobile, you will have to click on an invitation link or open up an invitation link in your browser. So I actually sent Jim an invitation earlier today, and if he clicks on this link to join the Mural, Mural for mobile will open up in the browser. To use Mural in your mobile browser, you will have to be logged in. So in case you're not logged in yet, you will get a question to do that. And if you don't have an account yet, you will be directed to a site where you can do so as well. So Mural for mobile browser is a limited application. You won't have access to all the same features that you would have in your regular web browser. But you can add sticky notes on, you can add ideas on sticky notes here, at least. You won't be able to see the whole mural, and you won't be able to search for all your murals, but you can send ideas on sticky notes through any mural from this application. So as you can see, Jim has added an idea through using text. In the future, you will also be able to sketch on sticky notes in the mobile web application. But for now, we only have the text option available. As you can see, Jim can also change the text of the color of the sticky notes. Sorry, so he's made the sticky note nice and green, so he can differentiate them when he comes back to the mural. And he can also change the size of the sticky note. You can pick between the smaller size and the bigger size. And now, if Jim is happy with this sticky note, he can press on send, and this will send the sticky note to the brainstorming mural that we're working on. Okay, so let's see what it looks like in the web browser. So I'm going to take over the screen sharing now. So when we come back to our mobile web browser, we will see that we have a mobile inbox where all the ideas that we added through the mobile web browser show up. So if I want to add sticky notes from the mobile inbox to your mural, then you can just drag and drop, and it will show up here with the rest of the sticky notes. So now you can also continue to edit the text on the sticky notes that you added through mobile earlier. And we can see that we have another sticky note here. So I can just drag and drop to add this one as well. And once you added all the sticky notes that were in the mobile inbox will disappear. But as soon as you start sending new ideas from your mobile, they will show up in a new mobile inbox again. So you will have some opportunity to separate the ideas that come from the mobile inbox and the ideas that are added through the web browser. You can also see here that you can minimize to hide the mobile inbox. So in case if I want to use the whole mural to work on something else for some time, I can just minimize it. And if I want to open it up again, I can just click on this stack of sticky notes that you see popping up in the bottom of the mural. So I'm going to open up this again and add the last sticky note that Jim added to the mural. So I would recommend this to use this application as a companion application to during a brainstorm session. So send an invitation link to your collaborators and let them add ideas on sticky notes through their mobile phones. This is a very nice feature to use if you're having a big screen that everyone are sharing in a conference room, for example, and then everyone can work independently on their mobile phones. So go ahead and try this. Send an invitation link to yourself to access through mobile or to your collaborators. We wanted to take the opportunity to show you some other cool new features today as well. So lately we added some different ways that you can add content much quicker to your mural by just right-click. So if I right-click with my mouse here, I can see the context menu showing up. And here I can choose both to add sticky notes and I can add titles. I can also add comments, I can add areas, but then I can also choose to upload files to my mural. So this is a very quick command if I want to upload files by just right-clicking. So here I can see that I have two different options for how to upload files. I can either choose to upload from my Dropbox or from my computer. The newer option is to add images from your Dropbox, so I'm going to show this. So I'm actually already logged into my Dropbox in another window. So now I can click on Archives, and I have a folder here called Images. So then I can choose to add images to my mural from this folder on Dropbox. So you can see that the images added through Dropbox will show up with a different text descriptions. You'll see which ones are from Dropbox. And just for your information, in case that this image would be deleted from your Dropbox folder, the image would still show up in Mural because they're not updated at the same time. So in case someone would delete this image from your Dropbox, you would still be able to see it here. And then I would also like to show you that you can do this the other way around. So if I have a couple of images on my mural that I would like to add to Dropbox folder afterwards, maybe I want to add them to a presentation or do something else with images, I can use the same command here as well. I can just right-click on the image, and then I can choose to save image to Dropbox. So I can choose to put it here in the same folder as well. Cool, so this new Dropbox integration is something we're really happy to be able to show you. Next, I would like to show you another cool feature that is very useful to help you add a lot of ideas quickly to your mural. This is kind of a new feature. It's been with us for some time, but we're still very excited to show it to you. So if you have a list of ideas in a spreadsheet or a Word document, for example, you can actually copy all these at the same time and paste them into a mural together. So I just mark all the different cells here in my spreadsheet, and then I go back to the brainstorming mural. And if I use Control V, I will paste all the ideas as separate sticky notes at once. So as you can see here, each one of the cells in the spreadsheet became a separate sticky note in this mural. And as you can see, when they show up in the mural here, they will show up inside an area. I can change the title of the area, but I can also just choose to delete the area directly if I want to work with the ideas more freely. And then I can actually do this the other way around as well. So if I want to use these ideas in another way, I might want to paste them into an email or a Word document or in another spreadsheet. I can use Shift and click on the different ideas to mark several different sticky notes at once. And then in the context menu that appears above here, you can see that the last option is copy as text. So if I click on copy as text, I will copy the text in the sticky notes only. And then I can go back into the spreadsheet, for example, or an email and paste the ideas as text again. And then you can also see that each one of the sticky notes appears as its own cell. Cool, so this is a very useful feature that I often use to add, for example, feedback from users. Many times we have forums online where we gather all the feedback from different users, so then you can paste the feedback into a mural and start organizing it to find common themes. And you can also use it for ideas, for example, or lists of other things. So before we move on to the Q&A session, Jim will come back in a minute to answer all your questions. Remember to add your questions into the webinar software. We will answer them all live in a couple of minutes. So, but before we do the Q&A session, I just wanted to give you a final tip for remote collaboration. So here at Mural, we talk a lot about remote collaboration. And something that we notice is that a lot of remote teams still doesn't do a lot of team building exercises together. So one of your customers actually recommended this exercise. It's a remote team building exercise. And the way to do this, the idea of this exercise is that many times if you're working in a remote team, you might have no idea what your colleagues' working space looks like. So in order to feel closer together with your collaborators, you can share images of your working environment. So everyone can take a photo of their desk with their mobile phone, and then they can upload it to the mural. So I'm going to use this feature again where I right-click to upload files. I have this picture on my computer. So here I have a picture I took with my mobile on my work environment. So you can, for example, use the mural as a canvas for the team building exercise, and you can ask all the team members of your remote team to upload an image like this of their workspace. And then you can go around the table, so to say, and everyone can explain a little bit about what is important for their workspace and what makes their remote working habits as smooth as possible. So I would recommend you to try to do more team building exercises for remote teams. You can share images of other things besides your working space. You can share images of what you did during the weekend, and in a conference call, everyone can share some reflections upon the images together. Okay, but now we're going to go over to the question session. So Jim, do we have any interesting questions to answer?
Yeah, we do. Thanks for that, Amelia. Before we do that, I'm just going to chat over a quick link. The example that Amelia was talking about comes from our customer and partners at 18F. That's a U.S. government organization, a design agency within the U.S. government. And they have a nice post about working remotely, particularly with creative and design disciplines. And they gave us that tip about taking a photo of your workplace and sharing that with your colleagues. So thanks for mentioning that. You can check that out. That link out there. I'm having a slight technical problem right now, so I'm not able to see the Q&A pane, but we do have some questions in the chat. So I'm going to answer some of those questions, Amelia, and you might want to take a moment and look at the questions in the Q&A pane while I'm doing that.
Yes.
Okay, great. So thanks for all your questions, by the way, everyone. So there was a couple of questions around changing pre-written headlines in a template, and as well as the frameworks. And when I was showing that template feature, I brought with the proto persona and the empathy map out from our frameworks section. And I think the questions are mostly around changing the text in those frameworks that you'll find on the left-hand side of Mural. And the short answer is no, you're not able to change that text right now. We are trying to enhance that feature so that you will have a little bit more flexibility in the future. But right now, the frameworks that we provide in Mural, those pre-formatted grids and diagrams that are on the left-hand side, you're not able to update. And the example that I just showed when we were creating that template across the entire Mural with all 4 of those exercises, we were just using the text and the shapes that were included in Mural, the normal text elements, and those you would be able to update, of course. So what I typically do when I'm creating a template is, if you need to use a framework like the persona that I brought out really quickly, what you can do is put sticky notes and text boxes on top of them or around them to add the text that you need to do around those. So it's often a combination of the frameworks along with the simple text elements. There was another question about the Dropbox integration that Amelia was talking about. Will we be integrating with other services like Box, OneDrive, and things like that? Yes, we are going to be enhancing that in the future. We just wanted to start with Dropbox. This is a very new feature. We do get most of our requests from Dropbox, and we believe a lot of people have Dropbox accounts. So we wanted to start there, and then we can look at other services. But I see, Box and OneDrive for business, for instance. So those are great suggestions. I will relay that to our product team. So there was a question about inviting users to the mobile app. When we did that little demo, I opened up an email that I had gotten from Amelia and then just clicked on that link. And maybe you can just show that really quickly, Amelia. So she's going to the upper right there, and you see the share button. You'll get the share menu. And you can either copy that link there, so it's the share link. Don't copy the URL in your browser. For security reasons, we have a share link. But in the case of the example that we showed, she actually just typed my email address right in there, right into Mural, into the share dialog, and then typed a message to me and hit send invitation. So you have the option of either sending around the share link, we call it the share link, directly, or you can use the system here to send a message directly from Mural that will have that join the Mural link that I showed there as well too. So you can invite folks that way. Amelia, I was just wondering if there were any interesting questions that you're seeing over there on your end.
Yes, we had a question about which mobile browsers are supported. Mural for mobile should technically work both for iOS if you have a Safari browser, but it will also work in the Chrome browser. So you should be able to access the Mural web browser through both Android and iPhone phones. And we also have an application for Windows. So you can also go to the Windows App Store and download a Windows application if you have a Windows phone. This one will have a couple of more functions as well. Just an interesting note to add.
Great. Yeah, so I'll take another question on my side, and that was about publishing a template, going back to the publishing as template feature. If I publish a template, this is James's question, if I publish a template and then realize I want to delete that template later, can I do this? And the answer is yes, you can. In fact, that's one of the only, there's one of two actions that you can do. You can either take that template and start a new mural from it, or you can delete it. As the creator of that template, you can delete that template. If you need to update the template, what you need to do is go back to the original mural that you created the template from. So what I recommend you do is create a room, a private room for yourself or for a team of people who are creating templates, and store the original, the basis murals that you created the templates from there. Then when you go back to, and Amelia's gonna show us this right now, if you go to the templates area in the upper left, you can delete any of the templates that you've published. If you wanted to make an update, what you would do is then go back to the room where you started from and republish it as a template. So yes, you're able to delete a mural, a template mural, but you're not able to edit it yet. We continue to enhance that function. This is a brand new feature that we're excited about, and we continue to add capability there too. Amelia, do you have another question?
Yes, we have another question here regarding applications. So Anna is wondering if we're going to release a mobile application that will allow people to work with their tablets the same way they work from their web browser. So as I mentioned before, we actually have an application for Windows tablets. So you can download that one for Windows tablets. We're also working on a new application for iPad that is going to be released soon. So we're going to send out newsletters with more news when this is ready. These applications have most of the application for Windows has most of the functions that you have in the web browser, while the new application for iPad will be a more limited one. You will be able to draw on the back of the mural and add sticky notes, but you won't have all the different functions. It will work more as a companion app, just as the web browser that we showed you today.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that. We had some other questions here in the chat, which I'm monitoring about apps and mobile apps. So yeah, we just launched a beta version of our iPad app, and those will continue to develop, as will this mobile web version that we just showed you as well too. So these will continue to move. So the iPad app will be useful for drawing. You'll be able to draw with your fingers. Right on the iPad app, as well as eventually on the mobile apps as well too. So we continue to enhance that to include things like drawing. But to that end, we had a question from Carl about large screen TVs and pens and touchscreen TVs and things like that. We do continue to target larger devices as well too. Currently with our web application, you can't draw on the background of a mural. The only thing you can do is draw on a sticky note. So you are able to draw on a sticky note. However, we have some Windows 10 apps. So we have a Windows 10 app that allows you to draw with a pen if you have a touchscreen TV. And there's also an app that we've created for the Microsoft Surface Hub. And we'll send out a link to a video of using Mural on a Microsoft Surface Hub. And that's a large 84-inch touchscreen monitor that has high resolution. And you can kind of stand up to it like you would a whiteboard, and using your fingers you can interact with Mural, drawing right on the background with the pen and moving sticky notes around. And because everything is cloud-based, anybody else on any other device would be able to see that as well too. So we continue to go small with our apps and our mobile apps, but we also continue to go large with large touchscreen monitors and pens. So yes, we do have some drawing capabilities both with the finger on the iPad that's being developed and with the pen as well too. on things like the iPad Pro, the Microsoft Surface Pro as well, and then the Microsoft Surface Hub, and we continue to develop all of those capabilities. So over the next couple months, you should see a lot of exciting things coming from us. I think we can take one more question, Amelia. Did you have anything there?
Yes, I would also like to add to what you just described as well, that any mural you create either in the web application or in the Windows application, that is the same mural can be accessed through all the different devices. So you can open up that mural from your web browser, but you can also open it up in the Windows application, and you can access it by adding ideas for the mobile web. So Mural is integrated throughout all the different devices. So you could collaborate with a team that are working on different types of technology.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, and thanks everyone for joining. We just wanted to show you where you can find some more information. We can give you a couple of links if you just want to scroll over there, Amelia.
Mm-hmm. Do we have time to take one question too?
It sounds like it's a burning question, so let's get that one in.
It wasn't a question, it was more like a clarification of the other things we already have. I had a question just about if we could repeat what we did with the spreadsheet. We had a couple of questions about that. So before, when I showed you how you could add content from a spreadsheet, first, as you know, to copy, you just have to press Ctrl+C. If you want to paste something in the mural, you can use Ctrl+V, and then it will be added here. And we also had a question if we could repeat how we did when we froze things to the background. So if you added a framework, for example, the way to freeze it to the background is by just right-click, and then you can choose Lock. So that was just a quick recap of a couple of questions we got a few times. So, but with that, I think thank you.
Thanks, Amelia. Thanks for those clarifications. Yeah, the lock feature is very important to know if you haven't discovered that with the right-click menu. So just right-click on any element, and then you have some additional options there, and one of them is lock. And when you are creating templates, it's important to lock things down, like the headers and the instructions and the grids and frameworks that you've added, so they don't move around, and then save it as a template with the Publish as Template feature. So thanks everyone for joining. This is again our first of a series. We want to do this every month, the first Wednesday of every month. You can find out more information about some of the features we highlighted today at blog.mural.ly. So go check out our blog. We'll have a recording of this available on that blog soon. So you may not see the post just yet if you go over there, but later today or tomorrow we'll have a summary of what we talked about, as well as a recording or a link to the recording. You can find out more on support.mural.ly. Again, I mentioned a tutorial video around creating templates. I also have a longer webinar there. If you want to know everything about creating templates, you can go there. If you have any questions, jim@mural.co, that's me, or amelia@mural.co. And we'll be making an announcement in about a month. So if you found this useful, look out for an invitation for our next webinar, and you can sign up there and find out what we've worked on in the month in between. So again, thanks Amelia for your help. It was great. It was great working with you today. And thanks everyone for joining. And with this, we'll end the webinar. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.